That was a gun.
I'm not voting.
If we want to build our nation.
The problem with the Somalians.
Just want to experience something else than a black man.
Move on, move
Can't be like a horse with blinkers on.
Honestly say, I was about to have
Corrupt
sex and then I pulled
crap,
up.
but it's nice.
My name is Lunga Matambo. I reside in Masiphumelele Township.
What's up? My name is Andile Oscar.
My name is Doreen Zanyiwe.
I'm Masiphumelele, stays in Masiphumelele. I'm not working.
My name is Howard. My surname is Mbana. I stay in Masiphumelele.
My name is Tsepo Mulitsani from Masiphumelele.
First and foremost, we will indicate Masiphumelele as an overcrowded community, which means there's been a lack of development for so many years.
Let us study the Masiphumelele itself as a community. This community has got a history. Where is this community situated? This community is situated in a ward in terms of municipal demarcation. We are in Ward 69 in terms of the ward allocation. And Masiphumelele is the only black township. The only black township. It's surrounded by white communities who, in a sense, are very conservative, very protective. I can say they are protectionist in a sense. But how does that affect the people of Masiphumelele? I think that's the key.
Masi is now been taken as a home for all by the foreign nationals. It's like a dumping area. When you want to dump foreign nationals, you bring them in Masi. But when it comes to issues of employment, there is no balance. And another thing that I think is affecting community here, it's an issue of unemployment, poverty, and inequality. Those are the key burning issues in the community. Because I believe if, for example, I was in charge, I could have said, guys, let us be fair and honest to the allocation of resources at the sub-council level. For an example, Fishhook is well developed. We don't develop Fishhook anymore. The thing that we can do in Fishhook is to clean the beach and clean the street and ensure that the street lights are working. Northhoek, you do the same thing. But where the challenge is, it's here in Masiphumelele. If you can go to the informal settlements here, A up to Z section, it's a crisis. It's a crisis. But because of people don't know what to do, they are surviving under those bad conditions.
Lots of people now from the other countries who are here, some Nigerians, Zimbabweans, and some of them, they are good. Some of them, they are doing drugs, which is every street. There is a house which is selling drugs. A container. Some of the containers, there are those containers who are selling drugs. And the police knows about it. The police knows about those houses are selling drugs, but it's nothing about it. Even now, when the youth was going door to door for the drugs, they found the drugs, but no one was arrested.
If my neighbors, they said that we must go and get the person who stole my TV, because the police are not going to help me, even if I can go to the police. I will go straight to that person and take my TV, because I don't have other option. I think last year, there's someone who stole my phone, you see. I went to the police station, but I never get help. I decided to just keep quiet because I don't want to fight with that person. Because if I fight with him or her, it's going to be like xenophobia if he's a foreigner, you see. So I agreed with my colleagues, Mrs. Doreen, by saying that in Masiphumelele we have a big crisis of drugs because the people that are stealing is our children also. They take drugs. After they taking drugs, they're going to steal because they are not working.
The spark is about the drug problem in Masiphumelele. But I think it's very important that we don't isolate the issue of drugs and crime in Masiphumelele from the broader picture. Because I'm always saying the issue of drug and crime fighting is not a single battle in a single front.
As I'm sitting here, we've been promised 2 weeks back that there will be a satellite police station. The question is when? How many weeks now after that message has been conveyed? More than 3, more than 4 weeks.
When you have a community that has got more than 70% of unemployment, then you are setting for anarchy. You are setting for anarchy because you've got what I can term as a reserved industrial army that is ready to take an action at any given point. But who is attending to that army if the government is not there? Masiphumelele is in South Africa. Therefore, he is not immune in what is happening in South Africa. Let us analyze South Africa in class terms firstly. South Africa is a class-divided country. You got the working class, which is the majority in the country, and you got the class of the elite, which is capital. Why I'm bringing this here? I think Utsepo is mentioning the issue of land, which is very key, because the economic activities are taking place from the land. If you want to build a residential area, you build it on land. Industrial area, you build it on land. Now, who's got land in South Africa? Who's got land in the city of Cape Town? Who's got land in Sub-Council 19? The answer will say money talks.
We have engagements. There are other platforms whereby the leadership of Masiphumelele is engaging with the city of Cape Town in relation to the land issues. And yet there are spaces that are surrounding Masiphumelele whereby Masiphumelele can be given an opportunity to expand. But there's never been a suitable answer for those who are in the authority to say, this is what needs to happen. Even the alternative route that is being that is on construction now as we speak, that alternative route all itself took a long time, a long debate has happened in order to get that.
From our point of view, as a young person growing up in Masi, it's not this type of situation that we're into now. It didn't just happen overnight. We had like peaceful march. We did everything that we could to so that we will not end up in this position that we're in right now. But even the Felicity purchase, we had many meetings with her. She came to the hall, and then we had lots of meetings, but she was just laughing at us as a community, you know.
In 2009, as Masiphumelele residents, I think Howard Mbana mentioned that we had been protesting time and again in Masiphumelele. The protest in 2009, right after elections, it was about land. Let us get land. And one of the lands that was identified is the land right on the Opkapseweg when you pass along Beach Mall. That was 2009. And we were told that that land belongs to sand parks. And there are some indigenous species of plants that we cannot tamper with. But today, that land is being developed for some estate. Then the question is, why? It's because the money talks. Those who got money, full bags of money, they get the first preference. So because we are poor as Masiphumelele, so if you move the people of Masiphumelele and then you put it to that land is close to the Sun Valley, which is the residential area for, allow me to say, the white people. And some of them are rich. Therefore, obviously, the picture that will be painted is that if you put the houses for black people, then the value of those houses or that residential area is going to depreciate. It's going down.
We as Masiphumelele community are not supposed to expand, we're supposed to remain where we are. But the question is how? If you came alone in 1994 in Masiphumelele, obviously now you have your wife, you have your kids. And your kids also deserve better. So, what will happen? Obviously, there will be squabbles in that kind of a situation because people have not enough space. People can't think when they are overcrowded. They can't think properly.
For us to get away to free ourselves from this chain, all we need, it's unity first. We move together as a community, like we do when we're fighting the crime, when we're fighting the bad spirit. We always got the unity amongst ourselves. And we just need to have it in mind that the ones that are in charge in the government, they don't care about us. They just ruling without giving us a clear direction where we should move as a community.
It's a situation that affects not only us as elders, affects our kids, affects our social lifestyle, affects our environment as well. Because nobody is willing to have police surrounding him with hippos every day. But that situation itself emanates from poor service delivery and the lack of communication from those departments that are supposed to be engaging with the communities.
It's not because the people of Masiphumelele are mad or what, but they are very tired.
The community has this long history. I think it's 5 to 6 years. A long history of poor service delivery happening.
The reality in South Africa is that the people who are backward in terms of the economy is the black people. The black majority is backward economically. And the reality is that white South Africans have benefited prior 1994 in this country. They benefited. That is why they're living in a life that is much better than of the black majority in South Africa. Now, I think let us all agree in whatever platforms that white people who have benefited before 1994, they must play the role in reconstructing South Africa, in making the point that they're not going to use their money to deny the black majority the land, to deny the black majority the economic participation. Because all we want here is the economic emancipation. If I can be liberated economically, then definitely I can afford to buy a house of mine. But if those who have benefited prior 1994, they still want to accumulate more, then it opens the gap wider between the rich and the poor.
My dream is to see a well-integrated community.
My dream, I'm living it right now, bruh. And also just to keep inspiring the young minds and to make this world a better place.
My dream is to see everybody playing his or her role.
My dream in Masi is to work together.
My dream is in Masiphumelele. If we can work together as a community to fight drugs.
My dream for Masiphumelele is to see a well-developed community